The pilot had already turned into bones, yet the bomber he was piloting continued its combat mission. At that moment, an enemy fighter jet spotted it and began firing wildly from a distance, while the pilot in the cockpit had also long since turned into a skeleton. Upon detecting the attack, the bomber's automatic retaliation system activated. The turret rotated, and with a single burst of fire, the fighter jet was successfully shot down. Soon the bomber reached its designated location, but the ground-based air defense system showed no response. The bomber released its remaining 4 bombs, and just before they hit the ground, their shells opened, releasing cluster munitions. The bomber gradually flew away from the target, and the city below instantly turned into rubble. 20 years passed, and the 4 commanders in the base had nearly no reaction, yet their brains remained connected to the computer, keeping the attack program running. At that moment, huge chains began to operate, loading cluster bombs onto the bomber. As the engines activated one by one, the lights in the cockpit flickered on, illuminating the pilot's skeletal remains. However, centuries of continuous operation had nearly drained the base's energy, and the remaining power could no longer support the bomber's takeoff. The system then shut down the life support systems of the commanders and redirected all remaining energy to the engines. Finally, the bomber took off again. It flew through the fog of war and out of the clouds. However, as sunlight hit the aircraft's body, exposed wires quickly ignited, and one engine was severely damaged and gradually stopped working. Soon the second and third engines followed suit, and the remaining engines couldn't support the massive frame of the bomber. Before it could release its bombs, it plummeted into the sea. The final combat unit was completely destroyed, and the combat system declared the war over. At that point, new species continued to emerge. The extinction of humanity did not have much impact because humans needed Earth, but Earth did not need humans.